Alrighty guys, as it brings the Dragon Ball Legends ToP walkthrough video. This is going to be in regards to season 118, and we did get some news about the update on the 4th of November. So basically, instead of 5 leagues, we have the Z tier, S tier, A tier, B, and C, or well, not tiers, but the leagues, right? It's going to be changed to a 3-league system, just A, B, and C. It says that with this change, all players will begin playing in C League. League Up rewards will be available again, even if they had been received previously. And then you're basically going to have to climb your way up to A instead of up to Z, right? Z missions that are required reaching certain leagues will be discontinued. Post-update rewards. Rewards acquired through the tournament, however, will also be adjusted. Ranking rewards until now resulted in a very small portion of the player base receiving a large amount of rewards. So they're talking about the 1000 CC being given to only the top 25%, right? While many players cannot receive any rewards. To address this, we will make adjustments so that more players can receive ranking rewards. To me, this just sounds like they're going to give less rewards to a broader audience. You know what I mean? So instead of 1000 CC going to the top 25% that actually play the game mode, they're going to give less CC to everyone, even if they don't care about learning about the game mode or stuff like that, right? And which, like, again, to an extent, I understand, but I don't really want to fence it on this. I think it's stupid. This is probably, this is the best way to get CC as a free-to-play player, right? So if you're a free-to-play player, like, it is definitely in your best interest to learn the ToP game mode. And by doing this, you're basically saying, oh, you don't have to care about ToP. I mean, as it is, people that spend a good amount of money on the game don't care about this. They don't need the CC from this, right? And so I personally, it's more so for the players that can't spend that much money on the game to obtain their CC, right? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this. So they're going to be making adjustments so that more players can receive the rewards. Clear rewards and missions available through play will also be discontinued. That's also... Again, I know the general argument for this is just that it's okay. Even if they take it away, they're going to move it someplace else. But my argument to counter that always is they should have just kept it and added CC otherwhere, right? Because the amount of releases that come out, it's just so hard to keep up with. So I don't know why they even... I don't know why they don't take that into consideration, right? Because of the fact that they're putting out more characters means they should put more access to CC in the game. So by keeping those missions and then adding the CC elsewhere, that would be great. So last season we did end off at rank 3,952, of course securing that juicy 1000 CC. I guess we're not going to be able to say that no more either, right? So no more juicy 1000 CC for us. We did secure it with the strike-based regeneration team. It did great. I honestly, this guy was a little concerning. I think we're going to go ahead and bench him now. It was fun using him, but just wanting to be greedy, and because I'm a greedy player, wanting to be greedy and then just keep them below 50% was definitely a risky move. I definitely think it'd probably have a higher payoff if you have him at higher stars, but then there's also the case where, oh, if he's higher stars, he's not ever going to get to that 50%, right? So it's kind of hard to play around stuff like that. And of course, before we continue, massive shout out to doomgeta and to the Discord for all the help that goes into these videos. I will be linking 2 Discord links in the description down below to go ahead and show them some support. One of them is the unofficial Dragon Ball Legends Discord, and the other is a Discord owned by doomgeta himself, which is the Celestials, and both of which you can get ToP help. And I'm pretty sure they're going to continue their support for whatever game mode this turns into. And as always, there will be timestamps in the description down below. That way you guys can go ahead and get to exactly where you need to go. So first things first, we have our pathing right here, right? So for part 1, part 2, left hand, and then right hand side, honestly, they don't look too bad. So on the first half of the board, you only have 4 difficult fights, while on the right side of the board, you only have 3 difficult fights. And the difficult fights are fights that we are already very much so accustomed to. I don't think it's going to be that difficult at all. And then you also have some alternate pathing right here for either easier fights or just more points if you want to be a little bit more greedy. And then, as always, this is color-coded for you guys, so you know exactly where your points is going to just start ramping up exponentially, right? So example, in the first half, you're not really bringing out your high tier characters, right? You don't want to put them at risk, right? If you're taking out your Z tiers and your S tiers on the hard fights in the first half, I'm going to call you stupid, right? That's not the play there. right? Unless like it's like absolutely necessary and you can justify why bringing them in, it's definitely, you shouldn't be doing that, right? You don't want them to die in the first half because your high tiers have the most impact in the second half, especially when you get later down the board, right? And that's why you have this graphic right here showing you exactly in which color section of part 2 that win streak starts building up really, really fast here, right? So also remember, if you land on a green tile or a yellow tile for heals or a revive, you're not going to be able to get the full 25 win streak bonus, right? Because that is going to basically take away a fight from you. You're only going to max out at 24 if you land on one of those tiles. If you lose a fight, if you get set back 2 tiles, that resets your win streak completely. So that's also something we want to actively avoid. Next, we do have the color wheel. This is only going to pertain to the labeled hard fights that we have for this season of ToP. So again, there is a couple, right? The 4 in the first half and then the 3 in the second half. But for reds, there's only 2 threatening reds, 2 threatening yellows, 4 threatening purples, 4 threatening greens, and 8 threatening blues. Right, so obviously you can tell which one stands out the most, right? It's going to be the blues. So if you're thinking about running a mono red team, don't. Right? Just simply do not. But other than that, everything else seems pretty balanced aside from blue. And just going based off of this, blast teams are going to be more well equipped to deal with these fights, in my own opinion. Strike team, but I used strike last season and it worked fine. It truly, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it makes that much of an impact. Plus, if you watch my guides, I tell you exactly where the cover changes are going to be before we go into the fights, right? So, because basically what I'm doing is I'm going in blind without knowing exactly where the cover changes are at. And then I go and look at the team formation, and then I double check with the kits, and then I insert that before the fight. So in post-production, I'm able to tell you guys where the cover changes are before we go into the fight. So there should be no issue there. So now getting into our actual pathing right here. So this is the first fight you're going to come across. It's not that bad. So notable units here are definitely the stunners, which is going to be the Frost and the Master Roshi. Green EX Urine actually does have some decent damage, plus she has debuffs in the cross shapes, meaning the middle column and the middle row are going to be debuffed. So that only leaves you 4 open slots. And then, not necessarily a notable unit, but Chaozu will self-destruct at 15% or lower HP. So typically we go for him last, but even if he does explode on you, I don't think it's going to amount to that much damage. Next, we have this fight, something that we see a lot. Like, actually, I'm surprised how often this fight pops up. So, Taunt Gohan, right? Definitely a notable unit because he's going to make all your units aggro him for the first turn. Unless you can cancel that buff effect, which a few units can do. All your units are going to focus him down on turn 1. So definitely going to make note of him. Videl has good damage. This yellow Broly has good damage. You want to probably... those are probably also going to be high priority. Goten's more so mid priority. And then low priority is going to be the Goku, who I probably would take out in the 5th or 6th slots. And same thing with the green Broly, 5th or 6th slot, right? They can be interchangeable for that 6th slot. Just because the Goku has death buffs and the Broly has the barrier mechanic. Next, you have the kids fight. So easily your number 1 priority, not even just a high priority, your first unit that you're going to want to get out of the way here is 100% Pan. Pan gets a majority of her kit on turn 2, which includes debuffs. So definitely get her out of the way. You can go for Goten. Goten gets a super attack on turn 2. And then I probably would go for this Goku, right? The Path to Power Goku, he has the chance to double attack you on turn 3. I'm scared of the double attack, right? I don't like the double attacks. I would say those 3. And then for your last unit, you do go for this guy because he has death buffs. Or death debuffs, one of the 2. Next, we have this odd fight right here. So Pikkon is definitely a notable unit here. Is he the first unit you have to take out? Probably not. He does get a guaranteed super attack on turn 3. That is why he's a notable unit. After him, another high priority would probably be the blue Tien. This Gohan does have death buffs, but there's 2 revival units on here. So Gohan's this revival Gohan's probably going to be 5th slot, and then this Pikkon's probably going to be 6th slot, right? Because the revival units, you go for them at the end. And that brings us to our first labeled hard fight, which is the Majin Buu Saga. So easily your highest priorities here is the purple Gohan, and then the fusing Vegito, right? Fusing Vegito, they fuse on turn 3. You should never see that happen. Never. Never, ever, ever. Once you get those two out of the way, it turns into a relatively easy fight, right? For the most part, people go for the mid-priority units, which is going to be the Shin, the Kid Buu, 18, and then most of the time you'll go for the Evil Buu last. Next, we have another variation of the Majin Buu Saga team. Nothing stands out here to me except for the Goten, right? Goten super attacks on turn 2. Boom, you just get him. Next, we have this the Mohawks fight, right? So it's a different version of the Mohawks fight. So your high priorities here is going to be the yellow Tapion and the red Tapion. And then for your 5th and 6th slot, 5th slot is probably going to be the purple Tapion. Because you do want to avoid getting a hit on him because he debuffs you once you hit him. So he's probably 5th slot. And then the blue Zamasu is 6th slot because he debuffs you upon getting hit as well. And then remember that blue Zamasu is debuffing the bottom row, so you have to stay away from that. So next we have this fight right here. So double stun. So high priority is going to be Frost and Champa, both stun you on turn 2. And then after that, probably the purple hit has decent damage. Kefla has decent damage. And then Kaba has debuffs, right? But those are all mid priority. Alternatively, you can go to this fight for more points. It's a 5th stage against LOE. Or, well, it's mostly Frieza Force, right? But either way, what you're going to want to do here is, if you're a blast team, you have to go for this yellow Frieza first, because upon using your blast arts on him, he gains 100% to his special move gauge, right? Because he mitigates it, and then he hits you in that first turn with a super attack. But he has a low key restore speed, so as long as your units are fast enough, you just pop that mitigation and then kill him and then go about your day. If you're a strike team, you don't really have too much to worry about here. Like, you probably just go for the mecha, this guy, and then everyone else, it just falls apart completely. Next, we have this GT fight right here too. So I mean, there's a couple things going on right here. Your highest priorities easily are going to be the Super 17. Be careful about bringing, I would advise not to bring a yellow into this fight. If he has a 50% chance to double attack a yellow unit if he attacks a yellow unit. So probably not a good idea to bring a yellow here. So get him out of the way, get this guy out of the way. He has crazy debuffs, and then this guy's probably 6th slot because he mitigates 1 blast arts. And then you have this one too. It's a Vegeta clan fight. We had this last season too. So high priorities, this Trunks has the chance to double attack, right? The Sword of Hope Trunks he just has good damage, and he has a strike cover. This guy has a cover rescue, right? The tag unit does not have any kind of cover rescue, but a tag unit is a tag unit. They're still going to be annoying regardless. And then not necessarily a threatening unit, but this guy, he does debuff the middle row, right? Just because he's on a Vegeta clan team, so avoid that. Next, you have DB Saga. I personally don't think these units are too crazy. I would say your highest priority here is definitely going to be DKP debuffs, Bulma debuffs, and then after that, mid priority is the double reds, and then the low priority is the double greens, right? So it's not necessarily that this team is cracked out of its mind. It's just that they have the cohesion, right? Because they're all DB Saga. This is a full-fledged DB team. And so their kits do revolve around each other a little bit. And then obviously the debuffs come into play and stuff like that. They work well together. And so it makes them a formidable team. Next, you have this regeneration team. So not necessarily, this isn't a good team, right? It's not a good team. But both of these Janemas have blast mitigation. So if you're running a blast team, you're probably taking these guys in the 5th or 6th slot. So you can probably just slot them as the 6th slot interchangeably. Next, we have this fight right here. So Whis stuns you on turn 2. This Vegeta has a blast mitigation, so he's 6th slot, right? Pretty easy. So next we have this girls fight. It's not the worst thing in the world. It is a little bit annoying. Yellow 18 is debuffing your team's strike attack. So strike teams are going to feel this a little bit more than blast teams. High priority is going to be that yellow 18, and then the Kiawe as well. And then mid priority is going to be the Urine, because she debuffs the middle row, middle column, and the same thing with Rebrianne, debuffs middle row, middle column, but only on turn 3. Right? And then your low priority is going to be Vados and the Kale. Next, we got that goddamn DBS Broly fight that took me by surprise. So not necessarily a notable crazy broken unit, but the red Frieza is going to stun you on turn 1. A little bit annoying. Also on turn 1, the green Broly. Green Broly is going to green card one of your units at random, and he debuffs their key restore speed pretty significantly. So that can definitely mess up your attack order. So don't think anything's a guarantee. Like if you have a really fast turn 1 unit, he could green card him, and then that unit is no longer your first attacker, and maybe you saved up a blue card with them. You know what I mean? Stuff like that could happen. So he's a high priority. The Broly's a high priority. And the biggest priority here, maybe not necessarily the unit you have to take out first, but definitely you don't want the fusing Gogeta to fuse on turn 3. Next, you have Ginyu Force. I'm not worried about this. Take out the 2 tag units first, and then go for the Captain Ginyu revival unit last. Next, we have this kind of, it looks like an outdated movies fight, but I don't think I've ever seen this movies fight. So definitely high priority here, I would say, is the Dragon Fist Goku. I think he's going to have the best damage here. Bojack gets a super attack at the tail end of turn 2, right? So he gets it for turn 2, but he has such a low key restore speed that he's always last. He's going to fire it off really, really low end, right? And then after that, probably the transformation characters, and then Bardock. Bardock will debuff your key restore speed if you have a powerful opponent ally, a Frieza Force ally, or a LOE ally. So he might be a higher... he's going to hit that on you regardless, right? You killing him early isn't going to change that. So now we have the Zero Mortals fight. They actually made it easier for us this time around. So typically everyone here is highlighted, right? So again, before we get into this, avoid the bottom row, right? That's where the Zamasu debuffs are. Ultra Rosé super attacking, turn 1, high priority. This guy's also high priority because he is supporting the team. Again, everyone here is highlighted, right? So basically you get those 2 out of the way. You get these debuffers out of the way with the red Goku Black, the green Zamasu. And then instead of the red corrupted Zamasu, you have this guy in here, which is definitely a downgrade. So he's probably your 5th slot, and then you go for this guy in the 6th slot right here, because once you attack him, you get debuffed. Next, we have the future fight. So high priority, obviously, is going to be the tag droids, right? And then immediately after that, you better be getting the Legends Road Trunks out of the way. He gets a super attack every time a Gohan ally is defeated. There are 3 Gohan units on this team. That's 3 potential super attacks he could get on you if you completely ignore him, right? So you better kill him. And then after you get him out of the way, probably the other tag unit, and then you're pretty much golden. And then after that, you have another future fight, but without the Legends Road Trunks. So you just go for the tag units, and then the yellows, and then the EXs. Now, before we get into our top teams for the season, here is the Legends Key/guide to all of the icons that are going to be portrayed in the following images regarding the top teams for the season of 118. Right, so if there's any questions you have about any of the pictures, any of the icons, arrows, all that stuff, right, you're going to find it right here. Alrighty, guys, so this is the team we are going to be using, which is Regeneration. So this is just our regular blast-based Regeneration. Usually, I put Ultra Cell on here, right? Usually. We'll put Ultra Cell on backup just because a lot of the comments I see is just, what if I don't have Ultra Cell? And I always tell you guys corrupted Zamasu. But just in case you're doubting Ultras are corrupted dude, I can't speak. Legends Limited Zamasu. In case you're doubting his ability to do anything on the blast-based version, because he is a melee type, right? We're gonna set him over to blast, right? Everyone's gonna be a blast on here, and it's gonna work out perfectly for us because before Ultra Cell came out, because there was a time before Ultra Cell was out in the game, Zamasu was the best red for regeneration. This period. So this is what we're going to be using, just a slight difference from the team that we have created on the right-hand side, curated by the Discord. So your core unit's still Super Baby tier, right? That's your main healer. For your boost units, you have the Nail over there, and then the S tier Cooler. So for me, I took liberty in changing a little bit up, right? Nail's good. I think they're on par with each other. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. I think they are on par with each other. This guy has debuffs, right? He has double debuffs. So he's 20% to damage received at start of turn, and then also on attack. And then his Z abilities only for future. That's what sucks about him. Just for future, whereas Nail, it's for base strike and blast attack for regeneration. And then for boost unit, they have the yellow metal cooler, who is a good unit, actually. I actually do like this metal cooler a lot. We have him at Friendship Rank 10. We used him for quite a while. But we're going to use the Rage Shenron because he's an S tier and he's a fun unit to use. He has the taunt mechanic, albeit on turn 2, or not necessarily on turn 2, but there just has to be 5 enemies or less remaining to activate it. And so that's never going to happen on turn 1, right? But he does have support as well, and so I want to go ahead and give him a shot. Again, if you don't want to use the Rage Shenron, You can use the yellow metal cooler. You can use this Legends Road Piccolo. You could even go into Z tier and pick up this Z tier healer Piccolo, right? So you have options. So as for the main team, you already know the big difference here is Ultra Cell has been subbed out for the Legends Limit Corrupted Zamasu. We still have this purple Cell. He's my beat stick. This guy is a debuffer, plus he's really strong against hybrids and Saiyans. Turn 1 super attacker, boot tanks. Turn 3 super attacker, Legends Limited Piccolo. That's all we need, and we're golden. All right, so next we do have powerful opponents, right? So again, this team just did a couple more changes right here. So core unit is still the yellow Broly at your HPZ ability. For your Z tier and your S tier, you have the red Frieza, which is a huge pickup, right? That Frieza is pretty solid. And then even the S tier is actually pretty good as well, right? The yellow free-to-play 17 is a good unit. On the main team, you have the support from Legends Limited 13. You have the green First Form Cell, you have the Ultra Cell, and you have the purple Legends Limited Cell. So you're kind of feeding into the Ultra Cell leader ability a little bit right there, right? Or not the leader, the Ultra ability, by having the 4 androids on the team. And then of course Ultra Rose being your best unit on here with that turn 1 super attack. You do want some more stars on him. That's why he has the pink star recommendation, to have at least 2 copies of him. I have him at 1 copy. I used him on this team. We did good for the season. He was lacking a little bit for me. Next, we do have the Universe Reps. So core unit is going to be the green Golden Frieza full board heal, by the way, from him, right? And he's supporting your team as well. For your S tiers, no Z tiers, so just the 3 S's for 30%. You have the green Kaba, who's going to be your debuffer. You have the yellow Topa, who's increasing your crit damage, and then you have the purple Vados on there as well. As for the main team, you do have the red Kaba. The red Kaba is really nice in the fact that he's buffing your team's key restore speed. I think that's a very strong ability. And then he has like a heal for your team as well. You have the Jiren, turn 1 stun. You have MVP 17 for the just general team support. And then you have the yellow Golden Frieza. Remember, the yellow Golden Frieza is always going to be on the golden tile. You want to upgrade that turn 1 super attack into the ultimate arts. That way you get you're basically maximizing that turn 1 super attack, right? Plus, once you land that, you also debuff the enemy with the ultimate. Next, we have the strike-based version, which honestly has gone pretty strong, right? For you don't have any core unit here, but you do have a Z tier boost unit with the blue Jiren, and then an S tier with the purple Bergamo. You don't really have a whole lot of options for replacements, so if you don't really have this team curated, maybe look towards the Blast version. I don't know. This team's always like slim pickings sometimes, right? Either they have the whole roster on boost or they don't. Same thing happens to LOE and stuff like that sometimes. But on the main team, you have 3 healers here, right? So you have the purple Jiren heals, the Kaba heals, and the Kiawe heals. Kaba is giving your team key restore speed buffs and support. Your Jiren supporting. You have just hella damage dealers with the tag unit, the MUI Goku, even with the evade mechanic, and then you have the yellow Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. He gets a turn 2 guaranteed super attack. Next, we got the droids. So core unit is going to be that yellow the yellow First Form Cell, who's a healer and HPZ ability, very valuable there. And then you have the Z tier 17, very squishy, fragile unit. Be careful about using him. And then the S tier Cell Jr., who should be just fine, right? And then on the main team, you have MVP support. You have cover rescue / stun with the green 21. You have the Ultra Cell, who's the best unit on in the team. And then you have the purple Legends Limited Cell, who's just really good, bro. He's just really strong, especially fighting Saiyans and hybrid Saiyans, which you see a ton of. So it's just always valuable, right, to have units that are like that. And then you have the tag Gammas. Next, we do have DB Saga. So no core unit here, or well, you do have a core unit, I'm sorry, but he's he's also your boost unit. And it is the Master Roshi, the yellow one. He is your HPZ ability buffer as well. And then you have the Z tier blue Roshi. If you don't want to use the Z tier blue Roshi, you do have a replacement option with the tambourine. Even if you don't want to put another Z tier on there, you could put another S tier, because the Goku, the World Tournament Goku, is also S tier. So you can do the triple S tiers, 1Z, 1S, all that jazz. It all works, right? The boost units Tambourine is pretty good, solid. Jackie Chun, I think, is really good. I actually really, when I used DB Saga, Jackie was probably like my favorite unit to use on this team. On the main team, of course, you have the World Tournament Goku as a healer. You have that blue Bulma and the red launch actually work so incredibly well together. It's insane. And their blue cards hit so goddamn hard, right? The thing with the blue Bulma too is that she's canceling all buff effects on turn 2, so she's probably like a must-have on this team. You had DKP debuffs, you have Piccolo Jr. on there, and then you have the Path to Power. The Path to Power Goku, I actually do feel like is the weakest link. I'm not gonna lie. Out of all these units right here, I mean minus the boost units, Path to Power Goku, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't have enough stars on him when I used him. He just wasn't hitting for me. So next we got GT. This one's a very straightforward right here, right? Like it's you're putting Super Baby 2 on both variations, right? So this is the blast-based version, core unit Super Baby 2. You have quite a bit of boost on here, actually. So you have the Z-tier Synchron on full board support, the S-tier Green Trunks, and the S-tier Oob. And then on the main team, you have the Super 17, your best unit, right? Anytime there's a yellow on the enemy team, you're probably bringing this guy. You're probably bringing him in regardless, right? He's debuffing. He's using and abusing yellow units. You have phenomenal debuffs from the Hellfighter 17. You have debuffs from the Parasite Trunks, and he's also like really just, he has a lot of damage against hybrids / Saiyans. And then you have the Spirit Bomb Goku, and he has a stun on turn 2, and he's a recently Zenkai unit. He has good stuff going for him. So now we have the strike-based version. So Baby, still your core unit. Z-tier Synchron on full board support, and then the S-tier Red Majib. And then on the main team, you have the Ultra Gogeta, you have the Yellow Pan, that red Zenkai Goku. He does get a super attack every other fight because he's getting 50% per fight. The Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku, he has the stun right off rip, right? So turn 1, he's stunning someone, and then you have the tag unit. Next, we got the Frieza Force. So core unit here is only the blue Frieza, right? Pseudo healer, revival unit, just a good overall unit to have, right? You're probably never going to see him revive. I've never seen him revive, but just a great unit to have on there. And then for your boost units, you have the Z-tier Red Frieza, and then the S-tier Broly. That Broly is also a debuffer. He's really good even without being on boost. So this is a massive boon for the Frieza Force enjoyers. On the main team, you have the Ultra Frieza, of course. You have the Jason Birder, who are not a boost unit, right? And then you have that freaking red Zenkai Frieza is OP, bro. He's absolutely OP. He's a stunner too. So stunner, double stuns with him and the purple Frieza, and you have your turn 1 super attacker with the golden. So golden, remember golden Frieza, golden tile, upgrade your special move to the ultimate arts and debuff the enemy. So next we have the LOE team. So you have 3 core units here. They're pretty accessible though, honestly. Like it's not a big deal. You have the Chilled for HP. You have the Revival Frieza, who's going to be giving you the pseudo heal plus support plus revive. And then you have the Green Golden, who's giving you the team heal plus support. And then you have the your boost units of the Z-tier Red Frieza, S-tier Yellow Metal Cooler. And then you have the Ultra Frieza on the main team. You have the Red Stunner Frieza on the main team. And then you have the Yellow Golden Frieza. And then you're putting them on the yellow tile, golden tile, right? Because you want to upgrade that special move on turn 1 to the ultimate and debuff more. So next we have the Sagas from the movies. This is the blast-based version. Core unit Roshi, right? HPZ ability buffer there. And then you have double Z tiers. You have the Z tier Purple Burdock and then the Z tier Amon. That's huge, bro. That guy's not old. I mean, he's old, but he's not that old. Right? Like, dude, these are relevant units right here, right? So double Z tier getting that 40%. This team should be absolutely chilling. Main team, you have the Pycon Revival unit who's debuffing, right? Gammas have hella debuffs. The Blue Gohan is using and abusing powerful opponent units, right? And then you have the Zenkai Red Frieza who has he now has the chance to double attack, right? He has a chance to double attack, plus he's still your turn 1 stunner. And then you have Path to Power Goku, who's kind of whatever. But he does have the chance to double attack on turn 3. Now we have the strike-based version, right? So Goku is your HPZ ability, granting him the role of core unit. On your boost units, you have Z-tier Ramon, and we are forcing him on here. He would much rather be on a blast team. But, you know, that Z-tier is kind of too good to give up, especially given the Z-tier replacement options on here. There's a ton of S-tiers, right? Ton of S-tier replacement options, but not exactly the same for the Z-tiers. So you have him, you have the S-tier Red Tapion, and then Goku himself is also an S-tier as well. So, I mean, if you really wanted to just throw on another S-tier here instead of a Z-tier, you theoretically could. But yeah, that is completely up to you. On the main team, you have Triple Beast Gohan. All those units are phenomenal. You have the tag unit Goku Vegeta. And then, on top of it all, on that goddamn turn 1 super attack, he's debuffing the enemy, right? He's debuffing their damage inflicted, he's debuffing their damage received, and he's debuffing their key recovery, which is really strong. All right, so next we do got the hybrids team. So core unit Pan, HPZ ability. For your boost, you have the Z-tier Purple Gohan, the S-tier Green Trunks, and then on the main team, you do have double ultra setup right here, right? Yellow Beast Gohan's basically super attacking every fight, and then same thing could kind of be said about the Green Gohan, unless you're going against a full blast team, because he mitigates 1 strike arts and then he turns that into a super attack guaranteed, right? And then you have the tag unit Grunks, who's also a revival unit. You have the blue Gohan on here, who is going to be basically your replacement for the blue Beast Gohan. He's basically the blue Beast Gohan for blast teams, right? And then you have the purple Gohan, the ultimate. Then on the strike-based version, you still have Pan here for your core unit HPZ ability buffer. You have double Z tiers here, so 40%, big 40%. You have the Z tier Purple Trunks, Z tier Teen Trunks, and then main team Triple Beast Gohan. You have the Goten heals and support, and then you have that green Zenkai Trunks, who absolutely obliterates powerful opponents. So you have 2 like powerful opponent smashers here, right? The Green Trunks and the Blue Beast Gohan. Absolutely beautiful. And then that can just perfectly segue us into Taunthan right here, right? So double core unit here. So core unit of the Taunthan himself. The team is named after him. And then you have Pan for HP Z ability. And then you have an S tier yellow free-to-play Goku, and then Z tier purple Gohan, right? If you want a better unit for that S tier yellow Goku, there's the premium version of him, right? But most people don't have that guy, so you can go ahead and use the free-to-play version. You have double Beast Gohan here, so blue and yellow, and then you have the Goten support / heals, and then you have the God Goku for your turn 1 super attacker and a debuffer, because he just has it like that, right? Obviously, you're going to want to keep that guy on the yellow, because he does have the ult. So next you have event exclusive, so double core unit here with the Pui HP, and then the Golden Frieza for the heals, support, debuffs, and then you have triple S tier here with the blue Broly for debuffs. You have the green Cooler, and then the purple Kefla, the Super Saiyan 2. And then you have, on the main team, you have the Super Saiyan 3 support, you have the Shinron debuffs, and then you have the free-to-play Yellow 18 support. So next we have the Strike-based Saiyans team right here, right? So you have the S-tier, you have no core unit, but you have the S-tier Kaioken Goku who's getting a blue card on turn 3. You have the S-tier Yellow Goku, and then you have the S-tier Majin Vegeta. And then on the main team, you have the tag unit, of course, double tag unit, tag 4s, and then tag Goku and Frieza. You have the blue Nappa for the debuffs. You have the Ultra Goku. So on turn 3, he's giving damage to allies. He's giving, he's healing, and he's debuffing. So he's basically, he's doing it all a little bit here. And then, of course, your best unit is still going to be that Green God Goku, right? Because that turn 1 super attack is so impactful, especially when it's doing debuffs at the same time. Next, we got the Blast-based Saiyans, so no core unit here either. You have the Z-tier Purple Bardock and the S-tier Fasha. Fasha does heal that yellow, or that Purple Bardock exclusively, right? Or, I mean, not exclusively, but she's only a healer for Team Bardock tag units. So if you end up getting that Purple Bardock to low HP or whatever, just keep sliding, you should probably just have the Fasha next to him at all times, right? On the main team, you have the Red Kaba, who's healing your team, who's buffing your key restore speed. You have triple tag units here, right? Triple tag units is very, very powerful. Those are all very strong units. Nappa's debuffing, very powerful. He's a revival. I ran him to success at 5 stars, and he did great. And then, of course, you have the Ultra Goku there as well. The Ultra UI Goku is a guaranteed chance to double attack. So Also very powerful unit indeed. And then last but not least, we have the Majin Buu Saga. So core units is Poopy, HPZ ability, S tier TN, S tier Red Majin Vegeta, and Z tier Gotenks right there. On the main team, you have the support from the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You have the heals from the Fat Buu Hercule Assist. You have the potential double attack from the Buuhan. And then he also cancels buff effects on hit, by the way. So he can mitigate Taunthan's effect. And then you have your tag unit, which is going to be the Buu Duo, and they had Transcendent Kamehameha, so turn 4 cleanup. Honestly, when I ran this unit on Blast-based Saiyans, I never really saw it. I can't say the same thing about Majin Buu Saga, but usually these teams are powerful enough to not even really need to come to that. And that pretty much wraps it up for this season of TOP. Thank you guys for... Oh, 1 second, I forgot. We have the new units segment, right? The new units for TOP? Let's go ahead and take a look at that.